Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.
It's March Mania at Sports Interaction. NHL, NBA, March Madness, MLB, and so much more. It's bananas. Play Pinata Picks and Minute Madness, exclusive games with insane odds you can't play anywhere else. Make your next bet with Sports Interaction. Download the app using the QR code you see at the bottom of the screen or head to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN to get started. 19 and older, please play responsibly.
All in all, we're just another brick in the wall. Let's go. You know, those damn deflections, I wanted to come on and make so many wall jokes because it's endless material, Harnish.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, they won the game. I can't complain. They won the game. And we are here live on Game Over Toronto. My name is Fouad Suleiman. And to either the right or left of me, I don't know, it's
to your
Harnish
left.
Patel. I don't know. Sometimes I point, and then I realize that was a bad strategy.
No, you got it. You got it.
I mean, that's the kind of bounce back we are used to seeing from these guys. I mean, you know, there's a stat. I don't remember the exact stat, but I know they were very good at the bounce back game after a loss. And on the second half of a back-to-back in a different time zone, really good. I can't complain.
Exactly. And like you mentioned, or you start off the show with, we had our backup goaltender in net, right? Joseph Woll got the start. Matt Murray, he played the first half of the back-to-back against Carolina in that 5-3 loss. Samsonov obviously is out for a while. Congratulations for him on his newborn son, right? Enjoy being a father. But yeah, Joseph Woll, I mean, he played fantastic, and there was no cause for concern at all today, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I wrote down, I love watching him in net. He is so composed, especially for like a young, unproven goaltender. I mean, he was killing it in the A, and you know, comes in. The way he kind of controls the net and has that composure is really great. Like, there was a couple of saves where he like batted the rebound to exactly where he wanted it to go, and I'm like, I'm not used to seeing that. A lot of times, you know, you have goalies that have bad rebound control, but I honestly think that this is the best I have ever seen the Leafs goaltending situation in my lifetime. I mean, like, you have three guys that you can go with at any given night. The most inconsistent guy, or the guy we worry about the most, is probably Matt Murray. And he's even great. He's been pretty good. He's still a 900 save percentage. You know, he still makes big saves. So, I mean, I can't complain about the goaltending is top notch right now, and you can't complain.
I have some thoughts on Murray. We'll talk about that in a bit, but let's start off with Woll because he has been lighting it up in the AHL. With the Marlies, he's 16-2-1. He has a .93 save percentage. Even in when he's been playing for the Leafs in their lineup, right? He's 2-1 with a 9.38 save percentage. So he is playing some good hockey, and as a 24-year-old,
small sample size.
Exactly, small sample size. But he's as like a 24-year-old. It's good to see that we have some kind of depth in our, or some kind of prospects within our goalie pool, right? We've been missing that for quite a bit. And Armand, he's in the chat and he's saying that we still have him for 2 more years at League Min. Fantastic.
Oh, dang. Oh, yeah.
Fantastic.
I didn't know that. I actually didn't know the contract situation. Yeah, I know. Remember the days of Justin Pogge? And everyone was like, yeah, that's the next guy. I still remember. That was when I probably was first kind of following the team.
I mean, like, just look back at last year with Shalgren in that, right?
Man, when he came in, I remember like someone telling me like, hey, like remember when everyone was injured and he came in, and I had someone come in and say like, this is his Tom Brady moment, okay? Because Tom Brady was an unknown quarterback. Injuries, he's in there, and then the rest is history. So I was like, yeah, Tom Brady, Eric Shalgren, Shal good, man. And then that didn't turn out the way we wanted it to. But no, I was even thinking like, this gives you options in the offseason. I mean, nobody wants to talk about the offseason. We all want to talk about the playoffs. But Matt Murray at $3 million, somebody will want that if the Leafs are in a cap crunch. They want to extend some guys. They want to give Alex Kerfoot a 7-year deal, if they want to extend some guys, they can, trade Matt Murray, and then you can just roll with Samsonov and Woll as a young duo. Yeah. I believe they're from the same draft, both of them probably like 2016 draft or maybe 2015. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, they're around the same age. But
so you have a young tandem there. So you have options in the organization, which is good.
Exactly. And honestly, a little bit of a hot take. If I'm looking at the playoffs right now, I give Matt Murray one more chance. If he has another bad game like he had yesterday, you put Wall there as your backup, in my opinion. You put him as your second half, because I'm looking back at Matt Murray's save percentage in the last 6 games which he's played since coming back, right, in March. He's at a .886 in his last 6 games, and this is including a bunch of stinkers. He had some fantastic games against Florida and Ottawa where he posted like around a 9.4 and a 9.2, but in the other 4 games, like yesterday, .85 against Buffalo, .86, .84 against Edmonton, and then Vancouver .83. These aren't good numbers. And if we're looking at just in his recent games, which is him coming back from injury in March, right? He has not looked great for the majority of his games, right? And if I see another shaky game, Wall, in my opinion, has kind of deserved it. He's been playing well in the Marlies. He's played well when he's been brought up. Again, when he's brought up in there's a small sample size for these games, but it's he had to make a couple great saves tonight, right? Like there was a bunch of good opportunities, exactly, and he held down the fort for the large majority of it, and we'll talk about that third period. But yeah, I mean, Matt Murray, he's on thin ice right now, and I think Wall, he's nipping there. I think he could get a shot, and he could get some more games. We have what, like 9 more games in this regular season, right?
Hey, I mean, why not? Look, I think it's hockey fans were kind of trained by the old mindset that it's like pedigree, like what you've done in the past. I mean, this is how contracts work. It's always we care about your past performance. So everyone's going to be like, oh, but he won 2 cups. But, as much as it pains me to say, 2017 was a long time ago.
Exactly.
I still think he's a good goalie, but it's not like it's unprecedented for a rookie goalie to just be in a playoff run. It's not ideal. I mean, it's not your favorite idea, but I mean, we saw Cam Ward do it back in 2006. He was a rookie goalie that went the distance. I mean, that's like a dream scenario. It's a dream and nightmare scenario, because that would have meant like Ilya Samsonov got injured and we're like, oh, but all I'm saying is it's a good problem to have. I think.
Yeah, fantastic problem to have.
It's just a good problem to have. You and also like it's Matt Murray, so like the choice might just be made for you. He might just get injured again. Unfortunately, that's just kind of the track record.
Even without the injuries, though, right? You mentioned like 2017 being, I mean, the last time he's won the Stanley Cup, right? But since then, first of all, he hasn't been able to stay in the lineup healthy, right? And second of all, because I guess because he hasn't had those consistent games, he's been shaky as a goaltender, right? He's had a couple of bad seasons with the Senators and whatnot, but he's been hovering around that .89, .9 save percentage. Like he hasn't been a standout great goaltender, and if you're looking back like 5 seasons ago and trying to make a justification to bring him in and have that be your choice,
it's just a hockey mind. It's the hockey coach mindset I'm trying to get into.
Exactly.
Like you've seen it before. Tie goes to the veteran, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I think Wall deserves it now. He's had a couple great games, and like you mentioned, there's no bad choice, but thin ice.
Justin
very,
Fisher
very
doesn't
thin
like your
ice.
take here.
Huh?
Our social media manager and mod Justin Fisher says this is some wild Matt Murray disrespect. LMAO. But hey, that's what we call him Hot Take Harnish for a reason. He's here to just spew hot fire. But enough bagging on our own players after a win, because that's what we do, right? Man, like sometimes with Leaf fans, like it's burrowed deep in us. Like I had a dream last night, I swear to God, that like I was like watching a Leaf game or watching it on the score, and it was like the score app, and I was looking, and the Leafs were winning 6-1. It was like Carolina in my dream. And then I looked back at the score, and they lost 8-6. Because that just shows you the trauma that's embedded in our brains. But to go to a positive note, John Tavares is like getting better with age, like a fine wine, Pinot Noir. Like he is. Man, he's like I said this in the last show with Lauren, that John Tavares could play till he's 50, the way he plays this game. And man, when he got that whatever weird injury that I was about to freak out. I was about to be like, we can never have nice things. We are cursed. The hockey gods are just full on Old Testament on us. Just injuries, inconsistency. But he came back and he scored. He scored another goal. He had 3-point night. He pretty much led the offense in this game.
Yeah, exactly. I think you hit the nail on the coffin right there. It's funny because when Tavares signed this deal, a lot of people were talking about hit the nail on the
Hit the nail on the head.
In the head, there you go.
Final nail in the coffin is like really bad.
My bad. Hit the nail on the head. When Tavares was signed this contract, right? A lot of people were worried towards the latter end of the contract to see if he was going to stay a positive asset, right? And so far, fantastic. we take this 10 out of 10 times. And it's funny because going into this game, he was goalless in his last 7, right? He had been playing fantastic though. It seemed like he was just a little snake bitten.
He's been driving the play though.
Exactly.
That's what I've been seeing. He's been really driving the play. He doesn't fly. He's not going to pull off a Michigan. He's not going to, pull off some crazy stuff. But what he does is like stuff that'll never make the highlights. Is just winning the battles behind the net, in front of the net, with his just big, bulky tree trunk frame, just getting the pucks in front of the net. Like that's what he does. He is there as like the elite garbage man sanitation worker for the Leafs. That's what he's there for. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, exactly. He was like you mentioned, he was driving the play, and he also had a couple great shots where he was kind of robbed. Tonight, finally, he got 2, right, and both of them on the power play.
That first one was so beautiful. That tic tac toe.
Yeah.
Matthews,
even the second one, that was
behind
another
the net,
power
bang
play.
In front. Yeah.
Our power play. I wanted to go on off of that. Our power play has been looking fantastic, and a lot of the credit has to be put on Tavares on there, right? Tavares, Marner also, he's been playing really well in our power play. Our special teams have been looking really, really good, and especially today, like where there was essentially the whole second period was all penalties. How many penalties were given off in that?
Come on, refs, work on your game management, okay? Like, jeez.
At least the Leafs got some in favor for them finally, right? He's been playing fantastic hockey. It's really nice to see him getting going. The one scary thing, I love that you mentioned the injury kind of weird situation there, because
I don't even know what happened. Like nobody knows what happened.
Yeah,
like I think he sneezed too hard and he hurt his oblique or something.
Yeah, he looked like he got shoved from the back, but then he was clutching his arm. It was a weird situation there. But
I thought it was shot off the hand. That's my immediate thought.
I think they mentioned something about that too. I didn't see any shot though. I didn't
either.
It was weird.
It was so weird. I looked at the GIF like 100 times. I'm like, what happened?
Yeah.
But going to my Leafs fan brain, I'm like, we're gonna get O'Reilly back in like 2 games, and then we're gonna lose John Tavares before the playoffs. I'm like, this is just not fair, hockey gods. This is like not fair. Why are we being smited? But it was nothing apparently. So poor Matt Duchene though, going on that, he definitely got rocked in the hand.
He was bleeding quite a bit. Yeah.
He was doing that like then that's such a common injury, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what they got to do with those gloves, but I guess there's nothing you can really do. You can't change the nature of the game. A piece of rubber flying at you at like 100 kilometers an hour.
And the hands are just so delicate. Like even yesterday, I was playing volleyball with Armand, and I think I sprained my thumb like pretty bad, and it was just a simple play. So the thumbs, the fingers, you got to be a little careful on those.
Armand's a dirty player, though. That's what I'm saying. Like
I know. I blame Armand.
Like when you were going up, Armand definitely went for the thumb to jam it.
Oh,
and then it was just like,
blame Armand.
Is
bad guy, Armand.
No, but out here causing injuries.
Yeah, exactly. But piggybacking off of that a little bit, the Bruins tonight, they rested Bergeron, Marchand, and Lindholm, right?
I saw that. When did they become an NBA team here?
Yeah. Well, what do you think? Do you think the Leafs should be starting to rest a couple of their players here and there? Because
let's see.
I got a little nervous off of that play. I mean, we're playing against the Predators, a team that in all likelihood is not going to be making the playoffs, right? They're still in the hunt a little bit, but most likely they're not.
Let's see the.
Should we be resting them?
I'm looking at the.
Well, this week we're going to be
the
playing...
Leafs are 7 points clear of Tampa.
Yeah.
So I think here and there, I think you can do it. I think you could do 1 game Tavares, pretend that he was hurt, like on that play, and be like, give him a little maintenance day, put an O'Reilly back in, do a bit of that, like. And I still remember like I remember when this first started, when the NBA, it was the San Antonio Spurs that did this with Greg Popovich, and it was like a national TV game. He rested everybody, and they fined the hell out of the team. And then it was just like, and they still won the game. That was a funny thing, but like, I know fans don't like to hear it, but it's good strategy. Like, at the end of the day, I just want these guys to be rested for the playoffs, man. Nothing's gotta go wrong right now. Nothing. Just don't do anything, and nothing can go wrong, right? So,
yeah.
Oh man, but Boston, they won the game though.
They did. It's really funny. One guy in our chat, his name's Drew. When he was mentioning the people that were out, he said Bergeron the rat. I love how we just know Marchand is just synonymous with being the rat.
Damn, man. They took everybody was gone. Everybody was out. Jeez. Yeah.
Exactly.
Load manage everybody. Just load manage. Do what Craig Popovich did to Tim Duncan, and just put load manage DNP and then put in brackets old. That's what he did one time.
Yeah. Well, I was looking at the games that we have left for the season. Right, this week in particular, we're gonna be playing against the Sens, our next 3 games: the Sens, the Red Wings, and the Blue Jackets. Right. These teams.
Panthers. Coming up to Panthers is first, I think, on Wednesday. Florida Panthers.
Yes, yeah, we do have the Panthers. Yeah,
Florida
Panthers, Sens, Red Wings, and Blue Jackets. So we have a couple, like the Sens, Red Wings, and Blue Jackets. Those are teams that aren't in the playoff hunt at all, and are
you gotta take them out. Yeah,
exactly. I think that for those 3 games, or maybe not 3 games, maybe you give them off, give them the Sens and the Red Wings off, and get some of our players back for the Blue Jackets, so they have a game to warm up right before they play against the Bruins, right? Because that's another big game. That's gonna be a test and a measuring stick game. You want to see them play hard for that. But I think if you give them 2 games of rest in the next 4, that might do our team a little bit of good. You don't want them getting injured against teams that are not in the playoff end, and also we have nothing. We don't have much to play for at this point, right?
You want to get that home ice. You want to get that home ice for sure, but.
Well, we look like we're kind of locked in on the home ice, especially with the Bruins beating the Lightning. I believe it was yesterday. We're not locked in yet, right? But we're pretty much there, right? I think if you give them a couple games of rest here and there, I think it's gonna do our team good. And if we look at it, like, I'd rather rest them now than, like, for example, like the last 2 games of the regular season, right? I think this is like the perfect window. The next 3 or 4 games is like the perfect window if we want to rest our players, rest them now rather than later, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, that's a good idea. I think, somebody got a DM Sheldon Keefe's burner account on Twitter and tell him, rest these guys, load manage them. And to everybody in the chat, welcome. My name is Fouad Suleiman, and the other side of me is Harnish Patel, and we are here on Game Over Toronto, talking about a Leafs win in the Music City. The Nashville Predators probably took them out of the playoff hunt with that win. You're welcome, Winnipeg Jets fans. I saw, lists. You're welcome. Jesse Pollock, you're welcome. It's your time to cheer for the Leafs. Doesn't it feel good for the Leafs to win? Don't you feel it in your soul? I don't know. When you cheer for the Leafs win, it's like when you cheer for like the Cowboys or the Yankees to win. It's weird, but then you feel weird about it. But I mean, Mitch Marner. I got to talk about Mitch Marner. He's gonna be a head coach one day for sure. He has such a mind for the game. He's so crafty. Like, the mind is catching up with the skill in the body. Like you saw on the end
mind
of the power
specifically
play.
With that headbutt play as well.
No, I'm gonna get to that. Jeez, puck on the head. But like, firstly, when he was saying we need not enough D-men on the ice, like he was screaming from the bench. He was basically just, I'm the assistant coach now, apparently, and that the amount of awareness he had watching the game while he was not playing, that was pretty impressive. But yeah, the freaking header that led to the goal, I'm like. I'm surprised more players don't use that more often. I mean, it's kind of dangerous. I guess please don't do it too often, Rich Marner. But like, just getting it ahead, and that's what led to the Kerfoot goal, I believe, right?
I think it was. Was it a goal or was it?
I get so mixed up with who scores goals.
I can't remember if that.
I think it was a goal. It was a goal. A goal definitely happened, but I forget which goal it was. But they definitely. Yeah, that was great. I'm like, that is such a
that was to Matthews and then send it off to it's Herf and they got the goal. Yeah. That was a fantastic play. First of all, let's talk about that on the bench call just to get the D-man on. Fantastic. That was right at the end of a power play where it looked like the Leafs hadn't realized that the power play ran out, or the penalty or whatever ran out, right? So they had they had more forwards on the ice, right? So Marner having the heads up play, he called and was yelling D-man, 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 trying to get one of our forwards off for a D-man to get back on the ice. I love that. I think you mentioned it too, right? Having the head in the game, even on the bench, fantastic to see. It was a great, like, seeing him evolve as being like a vocal leader on the bench and on the ice is really really nice to see, and I think it's a positive aspect to his game. And yeah, that header, dude, so crafty, so funny. For those of you who didn't watch the game, essentially the puck was thrown a little bit high up, and Marner jumped up to header the puck. The puck bounced off of his helmet.
He just changed sports. He became Lionel Messi.
It was a fantastic header. I don't know how he got it straight into the neutral zone, and somehow Matthews was able to collect it without skipping a beat. Like, it seemed planned from the beginning.
It's a set play.
Dude, I play rec soccer with Armand every Monday. None of us have pulled off a header. Like,
does he injure you? Did he injure you there too?
No. Armand's Armand's not a fiend in soccer.
Slide tackles with the cleats up. No, I'm just poor Armand. We're just bagging on him here. It's okay. We love you, Armand.
It's fine.
I think he's in the chat somewhere.
He's there somewhere. He'll watch it afterwards. Yeah. It was a great play, and it was so funny to see. I love that it just landed perfectly on the foot of, like, for Matthews to pick it up and collect it. It was hilarious. 10 out of 10.
And then, speaking of Matthews, like, it just feels like, and, I hope this is the case, but it feels like a lot of these guys are peaking at the right time. Like, especially Austin Matthews. Like, last season, don't you feel like after that 60th goal game against Montreal, where he got the hat trick, that kind of felt like the emotional peak of the season for him? Like, it kind of felt like this peak. I know he scored decently in the playoffs, but man, I want him to be like this on demon time, like he was the last game where he had like 13 shots. And in this game, he was involved like crazy. I mean, he didn't score a goal, but he was involved in everything. Mm-hmm. That's what we want to see, is Austin Matthews just being as aggressive and as dangerous as possible at this time of year, right? And we're seeing that with Tavares. Marner has been like that all season. He's been just completely consistent. So that's what I keep saying. It's the key. It's those four guys. If they are all on their game, they will win the first round series at least easily. They should win it easily.
Yeah. It's just all about peaking at the right time, because the last season, even I believe in that when he got that 60 goals, right before he got there, he went on a goalless drought, and people were a little bit nervous here and there, because he was really trying to, you could see it kind of affected him, where he was like trying to get that, and he was getting a ton of shots off, but they weren't a lot of great chances. And then finally when he hits it, he just looked like he was more free. But just seeing the guys peaking, especially with Tavares, Matthews, like you mentioned, Marner has been producing well too, is really good to see. I hope that they can continue it into the playoffs, and then when Ryan O'Reilly comes back, integrating him again into the lineup and getting some chemistry going, that's going to be important, right? Because the problem right now is we don't have a lot of games in hand, and chemistry is the biggest thing, right? We want to make sure not only that the players are used to their line partners, but we also need to figure out the line partners and the pairings, right? Keith has been playing a lot around with our lineups. I think our decor was swapped up again today too. I gotta double check.
He's just galaxy braining this. It's like he's making like an album, like a music album, and he just keeps changing it and delaying the release. Like, I don't know if you're a hip hop fan, but Dr. Dre kept saying for like 10 years he was going to release this album called Detox, and it kept getting pushed. For like 15 years. He said he was going to make this album, and it never came out. So I feel like Sheldon Keefe, Dr. Dre, we never seen them in the same room together. They're the same person.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. That was my Sunday analogy. But to your point, I think I love the idea. I think producer Robert posted the because they showed up to the lines for today, and producer Rob was like, yeah, this is the line it should be.
Mhm.
Swap out Wayne Simmons in the lineup for
Yeah.
Ryan O'Reilly. Ryan O'Reilly, third line center. I think that's your best bet at chemistry because you want to keep the top 6 guys the same, as similar as you can possibly be. And
Yeah.
then I think Ryan O'Reilly can just absolutely destroy in the third line. Like, I don't think they shouldn't fall into the trap of, oh, we got this guy. We traded all these assets for him. Big name player. He has to be on the or the top 6.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to do that. Like, even when the Raptors won the championship that season, when they traded for Marc Gasol, I remember he was off the bench until the playoffs. Like, he was off the bench, and I was thinking, like, this is their big acquisition. Like, this is a big time name player, and they're still bringing him off the bench. So it's kind of in a similar situation. Like, just because he's big name, Conn Smythe, Stanley Cup winner, why not put him on the third line? Let him run other teams' bottom 6. Let him run their show, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was interesting because I think he was brought on to be that third line center, and then he kind of just slotted in perfectly being that second line center with Tavares on the left wing, right? But yeah, in the ideal world, I definitely think that having him man that third line center is going to be a good place for him. But again, we have so much flexibility in our lineup. Like, if we really want to top load our top 6, we can throw him into the second line center and then throw Tavares onto the left again. And we've seen that kind of works here and there, right?
Yeah.
So the flexibility is nice. The bigger thing that I'm kind of worried about is figuring out our defensive pairings, because I mean, we've had a lot of shakeups. Like, Riley and Brody were paired together last game, and I think that is the ideal pairing, having them together. And then today, it's McCabe and Brody, right? McCabe, Brody, Geo Hall, Riley, and Shen, right? I think it worked, but again, you can't really look at a game like today where we're playing against the Preds and see that as a measuring stick. I think I'm more so looking towards the Bruins and the Lightning game and seeing what pairings are going to be put together for that, and seeing how they work well together, because that's going to be a playoff style game.
The decor does leave a lot. That's probably the main concern for this team. I mean, stop me if you've heard that before. That's always been the concern for the Leafs, but it's deep, and there's a lot of guys that can eat good minutes. It's just, man, like Justin Hall, he does good things, man. He does good things out there, but the good things you don't notice. The bad things are as glaring as the sun. Like, so it's just in those high leverage situations. It's just the playoffs. It's a game of inches. It's a game of perfection. It's attention to detail. It's like coding. I mean, you're a coder, right? You know, it's like you have one comma in the wrong place and the whole thing goes down, right? I'm just explaining to you your career because I don't code, but that's all I know. I know there's one comma that's wrong, everything goes down. So
yeah.
But I'm also interested to see where does Matthew Knies gonna slot in? I mean, I honestly I kind of want his team to lose because I want to see this guy in the lineup. I've been hearing about him for months, and I'm like, this guy is like the Loch Ness monster. It's like he's like a mythical creature. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, he's obviously been very impressive in the NCAA. And Justin Fisher again says Knies is going to score a game-winning goal in the playoffs to kick off his Hall of Fame career for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Do you think he's right? And if so, how many game-winning goals will he score in the playoffs?
Just every single one up until the Stanley Cup Finals, and he's going to score on the Stanley Cup Finals too. No, but seriously, I think Knies is an interesting player because he has so much upside, but I don't know if we throw him into the lineup as a starter, right? I mean, he's going to be great. He might have an opportunity in case like there is an injury, right? Me and Armand talked about this yesterday as well, but I don't know if you who would you take out for him, right? Because I think our forward group is kind of locked in, and I don't really see him being like a
fourth liner.
Yeah, I don't see him being in the bottom 6 where he's like more of like a grinder or something like that. I think he'll excel when he's in the top 6 where he gets to play around and contribute defensively. Maybe if there's someone going down in the top 6, having him slot in there. But there's so many other players that are there in our Marley system that could get the call up instead, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like, and Rod Chalice said, I think we should temper our expectations on Knies.
Yeah.
I'm with you there, Rod, because I've always had that mindset. I'm like,
he's a young guy. Let him develop first.
I mean, obviously, in our wildest fantasies, he comes in and it becomes a movie, and he's like the second coming of Wayne Gretzky, of course.
Yeah.
But I think to your question about who to take out, I think you could put Kerfoot to like the fourth line, and then you could have Nyes, Riley, Lafferty, or O'Reilly, Lafferty, even the third line. I mean, that's kind of just me, or Achari on the third line. You could have it.
You gonna take out
Some
Kerf
grinding,
after
some
he got a
scoring.
goal today?
Hey, you know what? Depth is depth, but I think Kerfoot's a good utility guy. I mean, we rag on him a lot, but I think he can play in all scenarios. I think Yarncroke deserves to be on the top line, as crazy as that sounds to me. But
Yeah, well, Yarncroc was playing the second line, I think left wing earlier on this season as well, right? Yeah, it's tough. I mean, Matthew Nyes, like he's a young guy, let him develop. I think
yeah,
if there are injuries, then he's someone that could be that has his name in the hat. He could get a call up, right? But I think we have a bunch of other guys in our Marley system, like Pontus Holmberg is another guy that could get the call up. McMahon is another one.
it's good depth. Yeah,
So we have a
I
ton
keep
of
forgetting about these guys. Pontus
yeah,
Holmberg, he was really good to start the season.
exactly. We have a bunch
I
of
just
other
noticed
guys.
him. I
think
hadn't
that
seen
they
him
get
in
the
months.
yeah, it's been a while. I think they get the nod ahead of him purely because they've been performing well in the Marlies. McMahon lighting it up, Pontus doing well as well. I think they get the nod ahead of him, and I think it's probably it's probably better anyways in the long term because there's a lot of expectation for Matthew Nyes. I think he could get a call up next year and play consistent minutes next year, but this year, let's give him some
Make
time.
a relax.
Yeah,
As Tim and
let's give
Sid
him
would
some
say,
time.
Tim and Sid would say, make a relax. Just make a relax. Yeah. I mean, anything else from this game? Oh, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about that unbelievable save by Lankinen on the
He had a couple
on
good ones.
Yarncroke. I mean, geez, the Leafs have been a victim of a couple of just grand larcenies on like Eric Gustafsson got absolutely taken by Ilya Sorokin a couple games ago when we had Steve on. And this one too, I think this one was even more impressive because that was an unbelievable save. I mean, yeah, shout out to him. I didn't know. I'm not too familiar with his game, but I mean, he was pretty good. He was pretty solid in this game as well. Oh
Yeah,
man,
he's got the he's also the Preds backup. Soros is out right now, but yeah, he played well. I mean, today he really held down the fort quite a bit. He had a couple of really good chances, and the Leafs and he robbed the Leafs out of some great opportunities, right? So he's another young guy. I think he's like 27 years old. He's got a bright future ahead of him. And hopefully get some more playing time. But yeah, I mean, I think it was fantastic on both sides. The Leafs, they were able to clutch it up at the end after a little scary third where they let in a couple goals. But
yeah,
overall, fantastic game. I have no concerns with the game today.
no concerns. It's a 10 mark. It's like a 10 out of 10. The performance review.
Mm-hmm.
It's no concerns, no areas of development, as they would say in HR speak. But yeah, it's been a couple of games. I mean, at least the games I've been on. But yeah, after a tough loss to Carolina, obviously, you want to always show out against those top teams, but good bounce back. It's a good sign that these guys can take an L, especially a tough loss, against Carolina, and just come back and brush it off and play a really good game. That's a good sign. That's a sign of maturing, I think. I heard on the SCP on like the latest one, and it was a great stat. It's like they haven't lost 2 games in a row like once or twice this season. Like they haven't had a 3-game, or they haven't gone pointless in 3 straight games. And I'm like that's damn consistency right there. And that's this kind of stuff, aside from all the goals and all the fancy plays, that's the kind of stuff we want to see these guys do. Because that's what's going to happen in the playoffs. Got news for you guys. You're probably not going to sweep Tampa Bay. I mean, would that be amazing? Yes. Would that just end the Lightning forever? Yes. And we would be very happy about it. But you're probably not going to catch a sweep on that team. So to have that bounce back and just be like, next game, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Throw it in the trash and just keep it going. Don't forget about the past. Don't take the baggage with you. That's what we want to see from the Buds.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and they ended off the road trip 3-2. So they got a win on their last game of the road trip, and they're going to be at home on Wednesday against the Panthers, which is going to be interesting.
Long layoff, yeah, quite a layoff there. 3 days.
Yeah. They got some time to recoup, But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be a fun game on Wednesday. Let's end it off there.
Yeah, and Wednesday it'll be me and Lauren hosting Game Over Toronto. It's against the Florida Panthers, so going by history, there should be a lot of weirdness and shenanigans that happen. It's probably going to be like a 7-6 game or something weird like that. But yeah, we're looking forward to it. And yeah, thanks for everybody for showing up tonight. A lot of people in the chat, pretty lively. And as always, yeah, thanks for coming out to Game Over Toronto. It's like a month. It's like less than a month until the playoffs, man. I'm so fired up. It's gonna be unbelievable. We're gonna have some fire guests for the playoffs. It's good. They're gonna be unbelievable. We hope for a long run, but I just want to get it going. I'm restless, I'm restless. But yeah, thanks again for Game Over Toronto on the SDPN. My name is Fouad Suleiman. You can catch me on Twitter at Fouad_sports.
My name is Harnish. You can catch me at Harnish_Patel98 on Twitter as well.
And yeah, thanks again and peace.
Game over! Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.